Will, that number of 172, the total yards that Oregon allowed all day to UCLA. Pretty impressive mark.
Yeah, I mean, most of those are on that first drive where they go for 60 something, if I remember right. I don't have the thing up in front of me right now. So basically, half of the yards that you gave up, or a little less than that, you gave up for in the first quarter. After that, you lock everything down. Sometimes the other team does a good job of having a scripted out 10. Like you hear all the time about, first 10 or first 12, first 15. Coaches do it different where they come into a game and basically they're able to script up the plays that they want to run because they know how the defense is going to attack them. And then after that, it becomes your feel for the game as an offensive coordinator or your feel for the game as a defensive coordinator. Do you get more aggressive in blitz? Do you sit back and pass coverage? Are you more of a man team? Are you more of a zone team? And it felt like after UCLA got out of their scripted first 10, 12, whatever it was, Lopoy and Oregon's defense was able to shut down UCLA's offense, and they weren't able to do anything at all.
And now I'm looking at the drive log. You're right. So 66 yards for UCLA on their first drive. But then you look after that. The next drive, one play, -5 yards, interception. The next drive, 3 plays, -2 yards, punt. The next drive, 3 plays, 4 yards, punt. The next drive, 3 plays, -5 yards, punt. Oregon's defense was absolutely dominant after that first drive, and then they forced a punt in their first in the first possession of the next half as well. It's just the way that they continued throughout this game. They didn't allow they allowed a 6-play field goal drive. You said they only got 17 yards on that other scoring drive. You mentioned how far up UCLA was able to start on that drive. That was because Oregon had a 7-yard punt. So there are things to love about what Oregon's defense did because after the first drive and through the middle of this game, Oregon's defense was nails.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like whatever they wanted to do defensively, whether it was bringing pressure, whether it was sitting back in coverage, they were able to just completely shut down this UCLA team. I was very impressed again. Obviously, Bryce Betcher, not a big tackle game for him, right? But he comes up with a timely interception. He's in the right place at the right time. And it wasn't one of those things where Garbers just threw the ball and Bryce is sitting there and it hits him. Like, Bryce has to go make a big-time play on that.
Made a play on it, yeah.
Right? It's the same thing for Johnson. Like, he has to go out and make an incredible catch to get that interception. Then you have other times where every time it felt like Garber was trying to throw the ball, there was an Oregon Duck there. So he either had to be perfect or it was going to be an overthrow or there was going to be an Oregon Duck making a play at an interception. And when you get these types of turnovers, which I do feel were kind of lacking early on in the season, when you start becoming a defense that turns other teams over, it's a big momentum shift for you. I mean, just look at this game. You had a big momentum shift. You're going down at the end of the half to score a touchdown. Your quarterback throws a pick six, and I feel like it affected you through the entire third quarter.
Agreed.
If you can go out and you can turn over teams and you can continue to win that turnover margin, all of a sudden, a 21-point win can turn into a 35-point win, and it can happen just at the snap of a finger.
Yeah, you mentioned Jordan Birch a couple minutes ago, and I wanted to point him out because I feel like one of the things that people have said about him in the offseason, as well as even at times this season, is that if you could just get 100% of Jordan Birch on every play, you'd have this amazing player, and he's such a physical freak. I think tonight we saw flashes of all the things that he's able to do and do well. On back-to-back plays, he had a tackle for loss and he had a sack. And then later in the second half, maybe the most impressive play I saw from him is one that won't get registered on the stat sheet at all. But it was a mesh or zone option by Garbers and the running back. And Burge committed to the running back, tackled the running back, got up, and nearly made the tackle on the quarterback too. Like he was right behind the play.
Guy,
if it weren't for the linebacker being like filling the hole and being there, Birch would have tackled 2 guys on the same play and gotten up off of his knees to do it. Like it was just and then who else did that tonight was Harmon did that tonight. He was knocked to the ground, got back up and got half a sack on a play that I thought he was out of.
Right. Well, the defense, they're flying around making plays. What's interesting about this team is the last 2 years when you've seen this Lanning Lapoy defense, you've seen it's a constant rotation. Hey, you get 2 plays and then the next guy is in. 2 plays and the next guy. This game, obviously you're on the road, so you can't travel as many guys as you might normally, right? And so it's a thinner defensive group. That being said, when I'm going through here, all of your tackles are made primarily by 15 guys. That's not very normal from a landing team, but it doesn't feel like a lot of the effort has gone away. Like usually when you see a team where, hey, it's only 15 to 10 guys are making tackles, well, they also take a lot of plays off so that way they can feel good throughout the rest of the game. Taking 80 snaps in a college football game wears you down.
Mhm.
That's why it's so crazy what Travis Hunter is doing right now.
Yeah.
130 plays a game, it's absurd. I'd play 80 plays in a college game. Now, I'm not as athletic or as talented as a lot of these guys.
Oh, don't sell
but
yourself short. I see you and Travis Hunter as just being right there.
so similar. He's on a video game cover. I play the video game, basically the same. But what I'm saying is like I play 80 plays in a college football game. I couldn't move for 2 days, right? For a lot of these guys, they're not going to be able to move for 2 days. And that's not because of an injury. That's just how it works when you go through this many car wrecks. But to see guys continue to get up and try and make a play after making a mistake or pursuing 15 yards downfield if there's a big breakaway, constantly in the right lanes, but running to make a play. When a ball carrier is being held up by two others, you see 3 or 4 more ducks coming in. That's a big deal. It means you don't have loafs, and that's something that is effort, and that's something that those players can control. And if they're doing it at this level, that also means that a lot of the coaches are harping on it at practice and on film.